Testes is the origin point of the sperm, then are transported to the epididymis, which rests top to testes and is where the sperm matures and is stored before ejaculation. Then, during the ejaculation, it is transported through the vas deferens to reach the ejaculatory ducts. And while transporting the sperm, it also transports the seminal fluid into the urethra, which is where the semen and urine comes out, but never at the same time. The seminal vesicles is a paired sac-like glands that are located behind the bladder, creating a fluid-rich fructus that helps in providing energy to the sperm and makes up around like 60% of semen volume. The prostate gland is a walnut-sized gland located below the bladder, producing a slightly alkaline fluid which helps sperm survive in the acidic vaginal environment, making up like 30% of the semen volume. And finally, the bulbourethral glands are small pea-like shaped glands beneath the prostate, which creates a fluid that lubricates the urethra and neutralizes track of urine. External genitalia of male reproductive system. The external genitalia of the male is composed of two parts: the penis, which is composed of erectile tissue, and the urethra, which releases semen into the female reproductive tract, and the scrotum, which is a sac that holds the testes outside the body and maintains an optimal temperature for the development of sperm.
Key hormones. Gonadotrophin releasing hormone, which is produced by the hypothalamus and stimulates the anterior pituitary to release LH and FSH. The LH, luteinizing hormone, produced by the anterior pituitary gland, stimulates Leydig cells in the testes to produce testosterone. FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, produced by the anterior pituitary gland, helps stimulate Sertoli cells in the testes to support sperm production. Testosterone is produced by Leydig cells, helps support sperm production, develop secondary sex characteristics on males, and regulate libido and reproductive function. Finally, inhibin produced by Sertoli cells inhibits FSH secretion to help regulate the sperm production. How is the system controlled? It uses feedback to maintain the hormonal balance. First, the hypothalamus releases GnRH, which triggers the anterior pituitary. Second, the pituitary gland releases LH and FSH. LH stimulates testosterone production and FSH stimulates sperm production. Third, testes produce testosterone and inhibin. Fourth is the negative feedback. A high testosterone level signals hypothalamus and pituitary to reduce GnRH and LH or FSH production, and inhibin specifically reduces FSH secretion to control the sperm production.
There are six organs in the female reproductive system that are the ovary, that they are two small almond-shaped glands, one on each side of the uterus. Its function is to produce oocytes through oogenesis, secretes female hormones like estrogen and progesterone. The oocyte production happens each month during the ovarian cycle, releasing one ovary in a process called ovulation. Fimbriae, that are finger-like projections at the end of the fallopian tube. Its function sweeps the ovulated oocyte into the fallopian tube. The fallopian tube, that is a narrow tube connecting the ovaries to the uterus. Its function is to transport the oocyte towards the uterus. The fertilization usually occurs here. The uterus, that is a hollow muscular pear-shaped organ. Its function is the implantation of the fertilized egg, supports the embryo, and shed its lining during menstruation. The cervix, that is lower narrow part of the uterus that opens in the vagina. Its function allows passage of sperm into the uterus and produce mucus that change consistency depending on the menstrual cycle. The vagina, that is a muscular canal leading from the cervix to the outside of the body. Its function is to receive the penis during intercourse and serves as the birth canal in menstrual flow exit. Fertilization occurs in the fallopian tube The zygote travels to the uterus over a few days. Implantation occurs in the endometrial lining. The components of the female external genitalia are mons pubis, that are fatty tissue over the pubic bone, and its function is to cushion the pubic area and protect underlying bones. The labia majora, that is outer folds of skin, its function is to protect the inner structure of the vulva. The labia minora, that is the inner small fold of the skin, and its function is to protect the vagina and urethral opening. The clitoris, that is a small sensitive organ made of erectile tissue, and its function is primary center of female sexual pleasure. The urethral opening, that is the external opening of the urethra, and the vaginal opening, that is the opening of the vagina and entrance for intercourse.
Hormones and their roles. Gonadotropin releasing hormone, produced in the hypothalamus and stimulates release of FSH and LH from anterior pituitary. FSH, produced in the anterior pituitary and stimulates the growth of ovarian follicles. LH, produced in the anterior pituitary and triggers ovulation and formation of corpus luteum. Estrogen, produced in growing follicles and it thickens uterine lining, also regulates FSH and LH. Progesterone, produced in the corpus luteum and maintains uterine lining for implantation. Inhibin, produced in the ovarian follicles and inhibits FSH to control follicle development. Ovarian cycle is the maturation of an egg and hormone secretion. Has three phases. Follicular phase, FSH stimulates growth of several follicles, one becomes dominant and matures, and growing follicles release estrogen. Ovulation releases the oocyte, the eggs enter the fallopian tube, and is the most fertile time of the cycle. Luteal phase. After ovulation, the ruptured follicle becomes the corpus luteum. Corpus luteum secretes progesterone and some estrogen. Then we have the uterine cycle. Reflects change in the endometrium, also has three phases. The menstrual phase, low estrogen and progesterone is the menstruation. Then the proliferative phase, estrogen from growing follicles revealed, blood vessels and glands begin forming. Then the secretory phase. After ovulation, progesterone makes the lining thick and nutrient rich. How ovarian cycle influences the uterine cycle. Ovaries produce estrogen and progesterone that affects the uterus. Estrogen causes the proliferation of the uterine lining. Progesterone maintains and prepares the lining for implantation.
There are many methods to prevent pregnancy that are birth control pills, it prevents pregnancy but it doesn't prevent STDs, patch, ring, or shot, it prevents pregnancy but it doesn't help against STDs, implant or IUD, it prevents pregnancy but it doesn't help prevent STDs, male and female condom, it prevents pregnancy and it also prevents STDs, diaphragm and spermicide, it prevents pregnancy and doesn't prevent STDs. Spermicide alone, it prevents pregnancy but is less effective and it doesn't help against STDs. Emergency contraception, it prevents pregnancy but it doesn't prevent STDs. And vasectomy or double ligation prevents pregnancy and it's permanent but it doesn't help against STDs.